Congresswoman Cori Bush, welcome to the show.
Thank you. This is amazing.
This is a really interesting time to speak to you because the last time we spoke was virtually. That was over Zoom.
Yes.
Right? And you had been in Congress for a few weeks, it feels like.
Yeah, something like that.
And now you've been there for 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years?
Yeah, I'm almost an OG.
Almost an OG. I would love to know. I would love to know, as somebody who is freshly part of the machine that runs America, if you had a magic wand, what would you change about the way the Capitol works?
You know, I wouldn't have everything move based upon seniority. Also, there are great people doing great things that have lived experience, and lived experience should count for something, and oftentimes in Congress, it hasn't.
I feel like you're the perfect person to speak to that. You know, we've spoken a little bit about your journey, and your book goes so much deeper into your life. When we spoke last time, I had an understanding, a slight one, of the journey you had been through. After reading the book, though, I realized there is so much more that defines who you are or what you've gone through and who you know, what's sort of shaped who you've gone on to become. You know, you talk in the book about suffering through sexual assault. You talk in the book about suffering through domestic abuse. You talk about coming back time and time again, dusting yourself off, working through your trauma and building yourself back stronger. Tell me what that has done for how you see your role as a lawmaker in America.
Yeah, it keeps, so that pain stays before me. I still remember what that pain was like to be hungry, to go for days without eating, just making sure my children ate. I remember what it was like to close my eyes and hope my kids didn't freeze to death in the car, you know, while we were sleeping in the car unhoused. I remember what it was like to be brutalized by the police back in Ferguson in 2014. I remember what it was like to go through those sexual assaults and not have any type of help, not have any crime victim support helping me. I remember what it was like to not get justice. And so because I physically can feel the pain, and I remember what it was like, I have to push that, you know, that much harder because somebody else is going through it right now. And you know, for me to just feel like, well, I'm in Congress, you know, we can do all of these incremental changes and, you know, I'll wait my turn, you know. No, but there's somebody that's hurting the way that I, you know, had to struggle and hurt for so long. Right. When I was wondering who speaks to my issues, who's going to help me. There's somebody saying that right now, and I'm in a position to do something. And so why am I in the position if I'm not willing to push and put everything on the line to save lives?
It's not easy because you work in an environment where everything is so slow. Oftentimes, when you talk to lawmakers and when you talk to congresspeople who've been doing it for a long time, they do have a certain apathy towards how long something takes. There's a lot of exchanging of you know, favors and deals. There's a lot of, this is how the machine works. Are you able to get through to some of your older companions and your work colleagues now? Are you able to express to them the urgency behind some of the initiatives that you're trying to move forward?
You know, having the conversations, yes. And many of them come to me, you know, it took a while for some of them to see like, okay, this is why she pushes so hard, or this is why she keeps driving these same issues. This is why she cares so much about people being evicted, or, you know, Black maternal health issues and all, and so on and so on. Now some of them get it, and so they'll come to me and say, hey, how do you feel about this? But still getting a bill passed, or getting a bill, you know, that is one where we get to look at what is actually happening in our communities, not bypass the things that are uncomfortable, actually address, you have to address poverty head on. You can't play around with it, you have to address it. You have to, if we want to deal with crime, we have to address the root causes of crime head on. And who better to be able to put forth legislation to do that than people who've gone through that? And so that's the thing. So that's where I am seeing change in that area, but it's just going to take a lot more work.
And when you look at some of the work, you know, I appreciate how nuanced you are in the book. You share really intimate and painful stories regarding your journey with abortion in the book. You know, you talk about being a rape victim, and you talk about how you had an abortion after that. You also talk about having an abortion at the age of 19. And as you read through these stories, it would be so easy for you as a Democrat to make it seem, you know, like a rallying cry that's clean, that has no nuance in it. And yet in the book you talk about the conflict around abortion, you talk about the pain and the difficulty of making that decision, seeing the topic through different lenses. I really found it painfully honest, because it feels like in American culture now, every issue is binary. No one wishes to discuss the messy around the truth. Why did you choose to share it like that? And were you afraid that some would say, oh, you know, Cori, why are you giving them ammunition on us? Why are you giving people, you know, the little crack in the door to talk about the messy side of the topic of abortion?
Yeah, I really toiled with that. I mean, I wanted to take it out of the book at one point, and you know, I did think about like the attacks, or how my words could be weaponized, you know, against abortion clinics and providers. But there is, you know, I can't overlook what I went through, because it's not just my story. It's the story, especially some of that, it's the story of so many Black and brown women that have gone, and pregnant people who have had abortions or sought out those, you know, they were seeking out those services and weren't able to get them. And so I can't push past that, because that's part of the story. And if we're too, you know, we're silent about those issues, or if we allow folks to silence us because we're afraid of what they'll say, then we will never get those, we will never see change in those areas. So I need people to know that still don't believe her, or still don't believe them. I need them to know this is what you're pushing to the side when you blame it on us, when you say, like, so those pieces really matter when we're telling our stories, because it helps people to see, it helps to humanize the situation for people a lot more.
I think it really does. But it's interesting that you brought up the weaponizing of your words. You know, you've been very vocal in how you wish that your area in St. Louis would reallocate its funding and start creating programs that would prevent crime, programs that would inspire people to, or give people access to jobs, etc. in the community. Many people have now said to you that you're anti-police. How do you find that nuance? How do you find the nuance, or how do you even find the balance in trying to have a conversation with people where you propose solutions to issues in the long term without making it feel like you're completely neglecting the short term?
You know, we have to remember that there were people who spoke out against slavery, the abolishment of slavery. Were they right? Or were they just going along with the status quo? Is it about the easy thing or the right thing? And for me, it's about the right thing. And so I understand that people look at it as being anti-police. I'm not anti-police, not in any way. I want police to do police work. I don't want police to be therapists. I don't want police to be mental health providers. I don't want police killing Black folks, disproportionately in this country and with impunity. I want folk to be safe in my community, and because I have the power of the pen and the power of the purse, along with my colleagues, it's up to me to do something about it. I myself being a victim of police violence, but witnessing other families go through this, sitting with those families, hearing those stories. I'm a Ferguson protester. I remember 400 days of protest and protest after that. My purpose is to change what we allow, change what public safety is. It should be actual safety for all, not for some. It should be for all. And if me being getting criticized and attacked and being isolated is what has to happen to bring that about, to help the conversation continue to move, that's fine, because it can save a life. If I saved one life, then it was worth it, because somebody died because we didn't push harder.
Thank you so much for joining me again on the show. Absolutely pleasure having you. The Forerunner is available now where the book is sold.